welcome to Puzzle Master. Today I'm going to be showing you the solution for the Hanayama cage puzzle, which means I'm going to show you the couple of moves that it is required to do to separate that star piece from the cage, and then how you can best put it back into the cage once you've separated it. Now the cage puzzle is a level 3 out of 6 on the Hanayama difficulty scale and a level 7 out of 10 on the Puzzle Master difficulty scale. And if you don't already have the cage puzzle for yourself, then you can pick it up from our website, puzzlemaster.ca. And without further ado, let's get on with that solution. Okay, so here we have a cage puzzle, obviously not in its original position, but that's because we need to identify a certain point on this star, which we are going to be, first of all, getting in a certain position, and then we're going to be holding that point and moving the star around, holding that point the whole time. So we need to, first of all, identify which of the 6 points that we need to be holding. So obviously it's a little bit easier for me to show you the star in this position. It's much harder to identify what we're going to be looking for is the shortest point. It's easy to look at it from here, but it's a bit tougher when it's in the cage, so just bear that in mind. So first of all, we need to identify what I just said, the shortest point, which for me is this one here. And then once we've done that, we need to have a look at all the angles at the bottom of that point, because we are looking for one that is different from the others. So this one here is less steep than the other 3. So hopefully you can see that this one isn't as steep as this one, and as this one. So we've identified the short step or the short point. We've identified the less steep slant next to it. And what we need to do is then grab and use the opposite side point. So this is the short point. This is the angle. This on the opposite side is the one that we're going to be holding the whole time. So now we've got that, we're now going to show you how we can use that to then separate this star from this cage. So now we know which point on the star we are going to be holding. We now need to know which of these parts on the cage that the star is going to be coming out of. Now there's an easy way to identify which one it's going to be, and that is using, first of all, the cage, not engravings, but the cage markings are on 2 of the holes in the cage. Now one of the sides that has cages on this side has its sort of middle points pretty much in the middle, whereas this side has one much higher than it would be if it was in the middle. So we've got this big gap here, so we get the star out of, and it's this gap here that we're going to be using to get the star out of. So once you've got this side, we're then going to identify the shortest point, which is this point here. The slant is this point here. You probably can't see that very well, but it means I'm going to be holding this point here. So I'm going to take this point, put it out of the hole that we're going to be using, and I want the shortest peg on the left hand side as I'm holding it. So it's going to be quite hard for me to not cover some of the puzzle as we're doing it, because I'm going to be holding this point, which is on top. But we've got this point on top, which I'm going to be holding. The short peg is on the left. And what I want to do is take this, hold this peg. I'm going to be holding this for the rest of the time now. And I'm going to take the point that is in sort of like a north position if we're looking at a compass. And we're going to take that out of the cage first. Then what we're going to do is we're going to carry on twisting anti-clockwise until this point comes out. And then from here, it makes sense if it was this point here that came next, but it's not. So now we need to keep on rotating anti-clockwise until the short peg then comes out of the cage in that position. And as soon as that short peg comes out, we can take out the rest of the star and we disassemble the cage puzzle just like that. And for putting the cage puzzle back together, it's very much just a reversal of what we just did to separate it. First of all, obviously we need to go back into the same gap, which is this one, the cage side, with the nice long straight line on the left hand side as we're looking down on it. Then we need to identify, right, which is the short point, this one here. Where's the less steep angle? It's here, which means I'm holding this point in here. And now the key really is just one continuous clockwise movement as opposed to anti-clockwise for what we did to take it apart to put it back together. So we're going to start with the short peg on the left hand side, and we're going to put these 2 pegs into the cage first. So we drop down into this position here, and then we twist around so we get the short the short point in from there, and then we carry on twisting clockwise this time until all of the points fall back in the cage, and we reassemble the cage puzzle just like that. So there it is. That is how you disassemble and then reassemble the Hanayama cage puzzle. The challenge with this one is the awkwardness. First of all, trying to identify which point you're going to be holding onto. Hopefully, by doing that outside of the cage to start with, that made it a little bit easier for you to, first of all, know which one you're going to be holding. And then second of all, make it a little bit easier to identify when it's in the cage that you're in. Once you've got the point, it's just a case of orientating it into the right position on the cage and then sort of doing that anti-clockwise twist and sort of gradually pulling it out for separating it, and then doing the complete opposite to put it back together. And hopefully this has helped you solve the Hanayama cage puzzle for yourself. If you want to pick up more puzzles just like the cage puzzle, then check out our website puzzlemaster.ca, where we have the biggest variety of puzzles on the internet in the world. Until next time, I will see you later.